tender moments over coffee and pastries, but the real question is, how much more Lolo can Malolo go? All of that and so much more on tonight's Survivor After Show.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. That means it's another episode of the Survivor After Show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm your host, James Wallington, and Timothy and Paige are both out of town tonight, which means I have a special guest in the studio tonight, my dear friend, and I would say the queen of Survivor Palau, Katie Gallagher. Yay! Thank you so much for being here, Katie.
Thank you for having me. This is fun and new.
I'm sure a lot of our viewers are going to want to know like what you've been up to since Survivor Palau. So what's new with Katie?
I work as a TV producer in reality television.
Fun.
So it is super fun. So I get to be a part of, I work on The Challenge, mostly, primarily. I've done some other shows too, but not this one. Or the next one. Sorry. Spoiler alert. I'm the worst at this. Anyway, yes, I am a TV producer. I love reality television, and this is just another way for me to play the game.
Do you love being on the other side?
I do. I like being on the other side more than I like being in front of the camera.
I love it.
Yeah, it's fun for me, and I get to hear the scoop from everybody, and so I just have a different role. I always said that, like, Jeff Probst plays the game, he just has a different role, and
Sure.
I feel the same way about myself. Although, of course, I don't do anything to influence the game. I just get the scoop from everybody.
Yeah.
So I love it.
I love that. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions by the end of the after show. So if you have questions for Katie that you would love for her to answer, let's do that at the end of the show. So let's just dive right into tonight's episode. It was Diamond in the Rough, episode 5. Right off the bat, night 12, Malolo is coming back from tribal council, and Bradley is like, oh my gosh, like tonight was a massive wake-up call for me. He really thought he was going home.
I don't think I believe that, actually.
Really?
No, I think that he is super, super smart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's a Survivor nerd. I don't know. I think it's safe to say when you're there, like, of course, you never want to say, oh, no, I knew I wasn't going home.
Yeah.
I don't think he thought he was going home.
Well, he did appreciate, I feel like he kind of appreciated when he said, Michael, that was a really great lie. Because last week with James's former idol, Michael made that lie up about how it could save 2 people instead of 1. Because James went home with 2 idols in China. So it was a good lie in the grand scheme of like Survivor fandom. Because I think I would have believed it, being the super fan that I am. Like, oh, you can play that on 2 people? Oh, what, James went home with 2 idols? It kind of would make sense, you know?
It was a smart lie, but I don't know if lying is, in my opinion, I don't think lying is the best idea. And then telling people that you lied. So you like basically said, oh yeah, sorry, I lied. I don't know. It's different for me because I'm old school. Like these people are all super, super young, in my opinion.
True.
So they appreciate
Especially
that.
Michael, 18.
Michael is 12 and so distractingly handsome. I mean, we can talk about that.
We were talking about how he's like getting more attractive every episode.
It's inappropriate. And he's getting better looking because he's more like homeless looking and more survivory and like, oh, he's just like so adorable. I know, and he's so young. But
Michael
so
did say
cute.
that was his first hard fall in this game, and that he really does not believe he reversed the curse of James's idol, because he didn't. He totally played that very wrong last week. But going into the reward challenge tonight, we find out that they're going to be winning coffee and pastries, which everyone seemed to be really excited about. I thought the reward challenge in itself was rather anticlimactic. Like, I had a hard time paying attention. You and I were like giggling over in the corner because it was just like it didn't really grab my attention. They're grabbing sandbags, throwing them into a basket. I mean, like, what did you think? I mean, you actually lived through these challenges in Palau. So, like, what did you think of tonight's challenge?
Well, let's be clear here. I sat out a lot of these. I'm really good at playing Survivor. I'm just not good at the challenges. I used to fast forward through the challenges as a fan. I was like one of the original like super fans. Like I wrote my senior thesis on Survivor in college. I was a big old dork. But this particular challenge, to answer your question, yeah, I was like, I don't know what was happening. Everyone's just like throwing sandbags. Like I think I don't know how it was designed, but maybe when they tested it, it was like, you know, maybe one at a time, and it lasted a little bit longer. Like, everyone was just like babies that were told to clean up their playroom really quick, and everyone just went for it and then
just started throwing.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see the way that people take on challenges, because sometimes people do challenges in a different way than it was tested. So you just kind of have to go with it.
Well, like, I mean, Chris really, again, is showing that he is very physical in these challenges. I mean, Bria Carter in the live chat just said, Chris was killing it. Holy crap. And then James Mirror Domain said, Chris has an arm. I do want to ask, there was one question that Sheena123 had for Katie. I believe he said, if you were on this season of Survivor, who would you align with and why?
That's a good question.
It's a very good question.
I usually watch it and play that way. And I always have. Like, I play that way. But, like, how do I fit into all of this? And for me personally, I am not part of this demographic. Overall, these people are in their 20s. The oldest person is not like a, there's no grandpappy on this season. It's like Dom, but he's younger than I am. Okay, I mean, I shouldn't tell my age, but he is. Like, I am the same age as Angela, and she's the oldest person in the game right now.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to identify with people. I know it's just a whole different generation of people playing, and I love it. It's different. People play in a different way.
Who do you think you would have had a shot with then, on some strategic level?
That's a really good question. I have to think about.
Okay, we'll get back to it. So Sheena will hold that question. And again, you guys, if you have a question, definitely not Chris. If you guys have a question for Katie that's pertaining to this season that we can have like a topic of conversation over, definitely ask it. But if you want to know anything that Katie's been up to since her time on the show, we'll wait till the end of our after show to talk to Katie. So just to clarify that, because we do want questions.
I have an answer now. I just had to think about it because I can't commit. I mean, I would align with Laurel. She's super, super strong. It depends on where I was.
She's a triple threat.
I know. She's really good, and she seems really nice. I don't know. Other than that, I feel like she's solid, and she's thinking for herself. She's not like, I'm just going to go with Chris who told me what to do. Because no. So I just know that I'm not aligning with
like
Chris.
your choice with Laurel. Well, since we are speaking of Chris, I mean, he did clearly carry his tribe to victory in tonight's reward challenge, ultimately winning for his tribe the coffees and pastries. But, like, let's talk about his, like, one-liner bit that happened after the fact where he had to do this whole...
The mic drop. Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
He's a lot. There's a lot happening there. He's on a high, and I think a literal high because they got coffee. Yep. Like, think about it.
He really wanted those coffee and pastries.
Without any food, unless you go over to Ghost Island where they serve you rice and like.
Well, you told me a fun fact that, I mean, probably no one would know because they didn't show it in Palau, but you had coffee for the first time.
Yes, I did. So we had a auction, and we were given $500, and so I saved my money for my letters from home. But Ian and I split. It was like $50 or something. Nobody wanted it was like an iced coffee and a pastry. And it was a cinnamon roll. I can taste it. But we shared the iced coffee, and it was like super sugary and super milky and ice. Like, I just wanted ice. I wanted ice the entire time. Like,
that was your first time ever having coffee?
The first time I ever had coffee, and I was so hopped up. I was like, I hated doing interviews. I was like, really? I have to get up. Like, I have to walk over there. But that day I was like, I'll do an interview. What would you like to talk about? Let's talk about anything.
Hyped up on some coffee.
So he's super hopped up on that and himself because he won.
Yeah, like Bria Carter, Chris's rap. Like, what? That's exactly.
Was that a rap?
What we were thinking. Yeah, it was like a weird, like, wannabe Dr. Seuss rhyme rap. Like, it was just, like, not working out.
Also, Dr. Seuss never dropped any mic.
That is very true. James Mirror Domains, Chris's freestyle, LOL. It was very interesting, but I will never get over the whole.
No.
Like, okay, and then he physically dropped the mic.
Yeah. He did. And he was also screaming with such fervor, I want pastries! And they were playing like patriotic music, like, do it for America! Like, I love it when people go to the depth of their soul, but that's when it starts to get good.
Yeah.
When people are like going to kill each other for a damn pastry. Like, I didn't even have coffee, and I was like, oh, I want that coffee so bad because there's ice in it. I just wanted the ice.
Well, because they won, they got the opportunity to send someone from the opposing tribe to Ghost Island. But of course, in previous episodes, they just go to rocks, which to me is very anticlimactic, and it also just kind of defeats the purpose of the element of Ghost Island. Like, I want people to literally debate why someone should go to Ghost Island. That's better television to me. And then ultimately, if it comes down to drawing rocks, whatever. But I want to see some debate of who should go to Ghost Island.
Yes, because it's a game move. Then
Yeah.
you know where people's loyalties are, or you can help them out later. And I'm sure Probst is like, all right, toss rocks. What is the name of the episode should be Toss Rocks. I'm tossing rock in my day. Like, is that a thing? Do we toss rocks?
Well, I'm actually curious to know, as a former Survivor player, when the tribe, on Palau, it was only Stephanie left over on her tribe.
Yeah.
But with this season and pretty much other tribe swaps, it seems like when you merge into a new tribe with former tribe members, you naturally gravitate to each other. Do you think that's really the best move?
No, I mean, it's hard to not do that, because a lot of what you don't see is this history, and history being like, 13 days or what, 12 nights or whatever it is. But like, we were all on one island at first, and I think it was 2 nights, even though it only looked like one on TV. It might have been 2 nights, but we were there, and we were sleeping through our first couple of nights on Survivor, and it was like you bond with people, and that's not something that you're seeing. It's just, there is some shots of it this episode of people just like zoning out because you're so hungry and you're so just like completely out of your mind. And so when you do spend that time with people, you bond. You can't help it. When people go through terrible experiences with one another, you can't help but bond. So even if you don't necessarily like that person,
It's like
i.e. Karen, it's like Karen was on my season, but she still was like, it's like the weird aunt that you like, all right, whatever, your family, like, you can say that stuff because like you're the annoying aunt. I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, yes,
like
you're
you can't
right.
help it because you have like history with people.
That's so true. And I think that's why I really love Laurel, though, because on her new tribe, she's actually playing, or at least putting some feelers out. That's why she's kind of gravitating towards Dominic and Wendell, which I like that she's playing her options, just like Donathan with that moment he had tonight with Chris. But before we talk about the pastries and coffees
Chris
enjoyment,
is just really getting to me too.
let's talk about Ghost Island and Stephanie, Mermaid on a Rock. She went to Ghost Island tonight because she pulled the wrong rock. And of course, anticlimactic, nothing happened, no game, which I was really hoping there would be, because I feel like Stephanie would have gone for it regardless, because she's a gamer. But
She
because
made rice.
she just made rice and then
like, looked down
reflected on a rock and just did this little
Hope.
Yeah,
She should have written hope in the sand, I'll tell you that. Because it worked every other time. It did not work this time.
That's so true. Well, we also mentioned that the Ghost Island, we talked about this on previous after shows, but I know you made a note of it tonight when we were watching together, is that Ghost Island really is an opportunity for us as a viewer to get to know like a raw version of these players and get a little bit more story of why they're either rootable or not someone you want to root against. And so far, everyone that's been on Ghost Island, you kind of root for. Like, Stephanie was definitely pulling on the heartstrings with the whole, I'm a single mom, I have 2 children, I want to make my children proud. So I love that we get to see that human side, not the gamer side.
Yeah, I mean, they did that. They've done that before. It's like when you send someone away to Exile Island or whatever it is. On my season was like the first season they've ever really did that. You just see someone alone, and you're so alone. And she was right. Those nights are so long. 24 hours is a really long time to be away. But it also, when you're not there, people talk about you, and that's one night that you're away from all those people, and they're like, oh, well, bye, you're not around, we forgot about you anyway, might as well just send you home. Like, it's just an easier way to get rid of somebody.
No more hope in the sand.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Stephanie. She was on Ghost Island. At least she got to experience it. But Navidi, obviously enjoying their coffee and pastries, but I really liked this moment because I love Laurel, so we got to see a lot more of Laurel tonight, really sitting down with Donathan, because Donathan had a moment of vulnerability with us about his, mama and his mom, and how having coffee and pastries reminds him of home, and just it makes me find him more endearing. You know what I mean? Like, Jonathan's just a very endearing player, and he's just unlike any player we've seen in recent seasons. So what did you think of that moment between Laurel and Jonathan?
Jonathan was like a lost boy in Neverland with his little striped socks, and she was like Wendy, and she came over and it was like, it was so sweet.
I love that comparison.
But he's lost. He's never done anything. I doubt he's done anything like this ever in his life.
Yeah,
and
he said that he never really has left Kentucky. So
no, and I mean, it's weird that things that you attach to and like smells from home or just talking about things from home can trigger that. And he's so young and so emotionally raw that I feel like everyone's about to break, but that poor kid is like, he needed that moment from Laurel. She was like, just because she took him back into the game, like imagine watching this with her.
Laurel is so slick.
She's smart. She's Ivy Leaguer. She's
genuine. Like, it's not she's like legit. Chris, where we talked about how he saw Jonathan having a vulnerable moment and decided to seize that as an opportunity, which granted, it's part of the game. But at the same time, it's like, ugh, like Laurel took the moment to be like, I'm here, I'm your friend. Like, let's talk. But like at the same time, like we're in a game. Chris was just like, oh, this is a good moment for me to bond with him about our moms, but for game benefits. It's kind of like, I don't know. I just didn't really like it. Didn't sit well with me.
You and me both. I was like hemming and hawing the entire time he was talking. I mean, I'm probably going to sound super insensitive, but it was like, Jonathan's like, well, I just really miss my mama. And he's like, well, let me tell you a story about my mom.
Yeah, he went on and talked about himself.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just not a really big fan of Chris right now. I feel like he doesn't listen to women. I feel like he is really good, and he's probably going to continue to make it, and they wouldn't do as well. But there's also that feeling around camp of people are not nice.
Mm-hmm. And you even said, too, during the challenge, like, they need to get rid of him.
They need to get rid of him. Get rid of him now.
But I'm really, going back to Laurel and Jonathan for a second, because they're on my fantasy draft, I'm really hoping we see more screen time of their relationship. Because I think that they have they seem like, obviously opposites attract. I think that they're so pulled from very different backgrounds, and I want to see them really flourish in the game together.
Yeah, he needs to get some food. He's really gonna start to crack. I mean, there's only so long that you can hold someone up, but we also don't know what he's capable of, and either does he. Like, well,
he did dive down and get those balls.
Yeah, because he was like, "Well, I'm not doing
surprising himself."
People forget, young people, all those youngins, they forget that like this is legit. Survivor is legit, and it's not a good program for anyone to watch if people don't do it. But I think we see these people that have watched it and played it on TV, and then you get out there and it's like, you're legit starving.
Like Bradley complaining.
Like, guess what? It's gonna suck. You're gonna get eaten alive by bugs. You're not gonna sleep. You're not gonna eat. And it's not even that. You're not gonna have anything to drink. Like, everyone's mouth in this episode was like so dry.
Like little who mouths.
Like, I probably have it.
Like who's?
Yeah. Like, oh my God. I get thirsty when I watch it. I get hungry. I wanted some popcorn.
This immunity challenge I was excited. I loved this challenge. It was a little bit more engaging than the reward challenge. And they had to run out on these floating platforms, grab a bag, then surf back with their tribe using these like rotation devices. And once they had 3 bags, it would help with this, like, what was it? Like a combination lock to then unlock the sliding puzzle. I didn't understand the bags and how they correlated, but they did it. And then they had to do the sliding puzzle to spell Ghost Island. Who really stuck out to you in this immunity challenge? Or were there any moments you found like hilarious?
Okay, so I always look at the person that looks like they're about to die, and then I relate to them. So Chelsea was a mess. Also, oh my God, Desiree, like she was literally drowning and like some sort of like dolphin before they come up. I'm like, is she okay? And Jeff's like, whoa, like. What if she wasn't okay? They're just.
I know. The best part was like, I hope someone makes like a GIF of it because like
I'm sure
with the water like on her forehead and you can see her eyes and she's like literally
hats
like
off to her
drowning.
But she wasn't. She was like. she just got up. I mean, I guess you just go if someone's pulling you out of the water.
Desiree definitely stuck out to me. Chelsea, like, first off, again, who is she? We don't really know much about her.
Her hair is red now.
Her hair is definitely changing color. Something's going on.
And maybe she had red hair
and
before.
the dye is coming out because it looked brunette to me.
I thought she had black hair, but I also did not know who she was, and
I
just knew who she was in today's challenge.
I also love Wendell. I think Wendell performed very well in tonight's challenge, and we also talked about Wendell a little bit while we were watching together, and how he's just a very same with Jonathan. Like, something about Wendell makes him very different than previous Survivor players in the last few seasons. He's just very genuine.
He's genuine. I feel like he's a nice person. Like, at that moment where he like came over with Dom and Laurel and Jonathan, like, I just really was like, yeah, that's my crew. Like,
Those four.
Yeah, it's a motley crew. It's a weird crew, but it's a genuine crew. They came together because they genuinely like one another.
Well, hopefully Jonathan will stick with that, because tonight he's like, I'm playing two sides. I'm like, no,
Jonathan
go back to Laurel and Dom.
He's
and
not
Wendell.
in any shape to be doing anything like that. If he is triggered by coffee, this guy, like, just the smell of coffee, he's losing his mind. He should not be jumping any ship.
Don't go to Chris, Jonathan.
Don't do it.
Go to Chris. Also, like, James actually performed well in a challenge. Or do you think Dominic was doing most of
I'm sorry, who's James? I can't with James.
But, like, it seemed like he was doing a relatively decent job in the challenge. I mean, in the last few, he just hasn't really performed up to par. And he knows it. And I feel like he did tonight.
I think it was a scramble. It was
too much going on.
He was just scrambling to move those puzzle pieces. I know he was like, whatever. I have no room to talk, you guys. I know I'm terrible at Survivor challenges, so I really shouldn't talk. But yeah, that slider puzzle is so much more difficult. I actually know how to do that one.
Well, the funny thing was when Chris, like, chimed in, he's like, you guys, it's Ghost Island. And I'm thinking, what else would it be? It's Ghost Island.
Yeah, we know that. We just have to move the pieces around them. We still have to do that part. You can just pick it up and move it. Sorry, I'm not.
James Mirror Domains. James does well if he doesn't have to go in the water. That's actually kind of true.
Oh, he didn't go in the water.
He didn't.
Good point.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, I'm not sure I don't know. It's really, I don't know how long they were doing that slider puzzle for, or I just know slider puzzles are, like, way harder.
I think I would have been a little confused. Like, I think in my brain I would know how to do it, but I would be, like, overwhelmed. It'd be just a lot.
I also did not do well in a slider puzzle in my season, but I know how to do it now because I've worked on the challenge for so long. You start at the bottom. You start at the bottom and work your way up. If you
so anyone who's watching who applies for Survivor or any reality show, if there's a slider puzzle, Katie's got the tip.
Yeah.
We know how to do it now.
I might be able to talk about it. I might not be able to do it.
So congratulations to Navidi. Again, Lolo Malolo. Just got a lot more Lolo. So sad. They lost another immunity challenge. Oh, yeah. But before we dive into the last half of the episode tonight, I just want to tell you about how you can have some fun in your life and learn and grow in all areas. For those of you who do enjoy those things, we have a podcast for you, Conversations with Maria Menounos. It's a podcast edition that's hosted by our AfterBuzz TV founder and drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of your life, from health and wellness to career and relationships, finances, and more. Let our Maria be the big sister you never had. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. Be sure to rate and comment, and when you let Maria know it was us who got you there. Oh, make sure you let her know we were the ones that got you there. Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition. Make sure to check it out.
Menounos.
All right.
It's not easy to say.
Menounos. Yeah, it's kind of like, say it a lot. Menounos. So, Malolo lost. And obviously, Michael, Stephanie, and Jenna are feeling very much at the bottom, which is so annoying because it's, like, so predictable that one of those three are going to go home. And I was really hoping that someone from Navidi would just shake something up. But all three of them were kind of scrambling in their own right. But let's talk about the island flirting first. Tarzan and Jen.
Ugh.
So I know in the last two after shows, I kind of, you know, the first after show I was on for this season so far.
Wait. So they're flirting because she's like, I'm going to braid your dirty hair. And he's like, really?
He's like,
braid my dirty hair.
He's like, I need one braider.
sometimes I'm resting bitch face. And he's like, I have a dreadlock. Like, they're perfect for each other.
That was literally the best reenactment. I loved every second of that. Yeah, he really was like, I need a braider. I need a braider to stay to help me with my dreads. And I was like,
he is like Aussie, but you know when you put a record, I'm showing my age. Damn it. Again.
Yeah,
okay, now I'm legit though, because it's vinyl. Okay, so you do put a record on, and it's on the wrong speed. He's Aussie on the wrong speed. It's like slowed down a little bit, and it's like a little bit warped. But if you go like this and you look at it, it's like, oh, it's Aussie.
So good. Actually, Sheena 1, 2, 3. Rate Jenna and Sebastian against Amanda and Ozzy. How would we rate that? Because I feel like they're on very different levels.
Yeah, no.
But I will say there are some comparisons, I feel like, between Jenna and Amanda. No?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like both of them are kind of vanilla right now. We don't know very much about Jenna. I don't even know if her name is Jenna.
Maybe it's setting up, like, I think Jenna is using her flirting strategy, which I feel obviously paid off for her tonight because it kind of kept her name out of some of the other Navidi members.
Now you're like a baby infant, like a year older than my nephew. No, I feel like you're like, oh. But like he's so cute, and he
had such a great like tender moment.
I think he played too hard in the beginning with that idol thing. I know you liked it, but I think I was confused. I was like, why would there be two people?
But he did a good job at like coming back from that.
Backtracking.
Because he sat down with Bradley, who, in my opinion, was the one that Bradley was going to target Michael. But when Michael sat him down and said, you know, moving forward, you have to think about strength in these challenges, and I can help you. Like, we need to stop losing. And I think Michael
Bradley
makes a very
that.
strong argument.
I think Bradley's really, really smart, and I think that, and he doesn't know that Michael is 18 years old. 18. Can you hear my stomach growling? It has nothing to do with him being 18 years old. Sorry.
It has to do with the coffee and the pastries.
Yes.
So yeah, we saw Michael do his little pitch. Jenna did her little flirting. And then there was Stephanie. And I don't feel like she really presented the best case to Bradley when she was like, I know I was a little crazy.
I'm super crazy, but you should keep me around. Sorry, I talk so much.
When you admit that you're the crazy one, people are going to be like, start thinking. Yeah,
maybe he didn't even know that she was crazy.
But when you say it, it's like, ooh.
Then you just made it a thing. And you're no longer writing hope in the sand. You're writing crazy.
Can you imagine if we just saw her and she's like doing circles and she's like, crazy.
That's what happens when you go to an island alone. She's like, ah!
Losing her mind. Yeah.
No, I do not think that something is going on between Bradley and Kellen, which I never know how to say her name.
Do you mean something romantic? Because definitely not. No. But I do think that they have a good balance in their strategy because they clearly are balancing. They're like they balance each other out well.
Yeah, because he is very strategic and she is very emotional, and like she's also on one. She is.
And she's better at the social game than Bradley because Bradley's arrogance is just
and Bradley's like, I hate everything about this
God, sand, I'm dirty.
Ew, dirty Eddie Gores. Like it seems.
No, looking through other players' bags is a little controversial to some, but I would love to know from you, Katie, is it off limits?
Okay, so I actually have a story about this bag situation.
Me. I'm ready for it.
Karen is worse than Bradley. Do we call him Bradley?
Was that a question in the chat?
Yeah, it's Katie who was worse, Bradley or Karen from Survivor Palau. Karen! Ugh, Karen, she wasn't really, she was a complainer, but she also like had this weird cough. And she was like, and she was always like, Tom.
Crazy aunt.
And yes, she was totally 1,000%.
Crazy Karen.
Wait, what were you talking about?
If
the bag.
Through bags is really off limits.
Okay, so I don't know what this is. Probably against my like confidentiality agreement, but whatever. It's been 400 years. So Janu on my season had a weird bag, and she made it out of a piece of material, and she had things in it. She was always like going through this bag thing, and I was obsessed with like, what is in that bag? Because we have nothing. We were just
like
in
our
clothes.
Poppins bag.
It was
of trinkets.
She would always it was trinkets. She was like a bag lady, and she would like take it to all the challenges and like lug it around. I'm like, what the fuck is in Janu's bag? Oh, sorry, my language. So anyway, one of the producers I had done an interview or something, and they never talk to you. But this guy did, and it was like one of those moments where someone talks to you and you feel like human for 2 seconds. But all he said was, if you go through that bag, make sure there's a camera. Or let me know. Like, just give me a heads up.
Because everyone's dying to know what's in Janu's bag.
And I'm like, I'm not going through that bag. We eventually did see what was in Janu's bag because she opened it up, and I think someone else went over there. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was nails from a challenge that we had.
Clippings.
No, yes, it was like a voodoo doll of me.
She's on Exile. And she's like, I gotta take my nails off.
No, it was like that. It was nails like that we had in a challenge. It was her
mementos.
Very expensive shoes.
Weird.
Like heels that she wore the first day, and like I don't know, it was trinkets from the island, a shell,
bag lady.
It was
But like, let's say hypothetically she had some kind of advantage in there, or she had, some benefit in the game. Would it be off limits to then search her bag? Stephanie just got back from Ghost Island.
Not in this climate on Survivor.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? There is immunity idols and under every rock. In everyone's bag. I'd be checking people's ear holes at night to see if there's an immunity idol in there. Like, because they're everywhere.
Well,
search and destroy.
True.
Every loss prevention. Just
and a
go
lot of
through
people,
everything.
I know some people that are like, oh gosh, like searching through the bag that's like not classy, or that's just so out of the realm of the game. But if you really think about it, if you find a hidden immunity idol, why would you put it in your bag? Like, why? You've seen some people go like hide it in another spot and put it in their sand, and that's smart.
Yeah.
So I agree. I don't think the bag is necessarily off limits.
And also, I would have loved to have a damn bag. When are we getting bags? Just a backpack? Just chuck that around.
Well, that's why I love Desiree. I think Desiree
that was amazing.
is one of the people we need to watch. She's smart. And I'm excited to see where she goes from here. But Tribal Council, it was a little emotional in the sense that, like, as a super fan who's never played the game, I feel like I can relate to Stephanie. I feel like I can relate to Michael. Both of them are diehard fans. This has been something that they've dreamed of doing, and to know that it's going to be cut short because it's so predictable that these 5 are sticking together, which is boring. It's sad. It sucks. Oh gosh, my life in this game is at the hands of these 5 people. What do you think about this Tribal Council?
I think that when you say to a group of people that are also super fans, which is what you're dealing with, we don't have any.
There are a lot this season too.
There is a lot. So when someone says, this is my dream, everyone's like, mine too, lady. Say that you're doing it for your kids. Like that's why you're doing it. I mean, it's hard. She seemed to be at a loss. Like she was going to start to cry a little bit because this was her dream. And I get it. This is my dream too. And I did it and I couldn't believe it friggin' worked. Sort of, almost. But I think that if you're in that you have to think about every single thing that you say at Tribal Council. And Jeff is asking you questions for a reason. And you can choose whether or not to talk about it or not. So I think that was kind of a loaded question. And of course, it's everybody's dream. That doesn't make you special, and that's not going to save you in the game. That's when you throw somebody under the damn bus or something. You don't just give up and lay down your torch.
Well, someone in the live chat actually had a question about, do you feel like Stephanie saying the stuff about her kids and being a mom, from James Mirror Domains, did Stephanie playing the I'm doing this for my family card at Tribal make a difference, or do you think they already had their minds made up? I think their minds are already made.
That tribe their minds are made up. Nothing is changing.
Unanimous.
Yeah, they're except for hers. Yeah, but that tribe is very much like the one that I played on. We knew what we were doing and we stuck to it, and that's the way you play. But guess what happens these days? Drop your butts.
Yep.
That's because it's just too. You can't play that way.
It gets bland.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Nope.
Everyone should be on a different team now. No more of this.
Agreed. So unfortunately for Stephanie, her argument just was not strong enough, and she was sent packing tonight, which I do think it was cut short. Like, I really would have liked to have seen Stephanie go further, but you had made a point that she played a little too hard too soon. Like, she was a little bit more vocal than most people we saw. So she kind of dug her own grave.
Yeah, I'm into that under the radar or like under the water Desiree game. Like, don't be as invisible as Chelsea.
Oh,
but, it's too early. Even though we're 14 days in now into the game, almost halfway. That's when everyone starts to lose their marbles. Everyone starts to, like, you're either in it or you're not. Like,
and then if you're not, you're out.
Yeah.
So like speaking of out, let's do predictions for next week, because you mentioned the tribe swap.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Oh, this is a thing.
So, no lie, y'all. When we were watching together, Katie did say drop your buffs before the preview for next week even happened. So, what do you think this tribe swap is going to do?
Well, it's going to shake up the game, obviously.
Yes.
That's what it's meant to do. And it's going to break all of that predictability. But it also leaves things up to these survivor gods or whatever they're calling it, which is a real thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Kellen, she didn't want to go to Ghost Island. And
just don't say it because it's going to happen because there's so much energy out there. And you don't have any, I know this is going to sound super weird, but you don't have any phones, you don't have any planes in the sky, you don't have any boats in the water except for like crew stuff, which is very minimal. And so when you put things out there, you're putting the energy
like
right
the
into
You're
it.
Manifesting.
You are manifesting
and it comes a lot quicker.
Yeah. So I think that things are going to come to bite people in the butt. So someone like Chris.
I think the tribe swap, I think the tribe switch is definitely going to ruin Chris's game.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go. I also feel like we've been seeing a lot more, this episode more so about, I feel like Bradley and Michael are going to stick together in this tribe swap. I'm going to predict that right now because this conversation between the two of them, and Bradley's seeing that Michael has strength and challenges, we're tired of losing, that I feel like we might see someone like Chelsea go. She's a little too invisible, not to the point where I think she'll go far. I just think it's too invisible because she's not offering a lot to the game strategically, or at least we're not seeing that. So I think Chelsea and Chris are going to be two that I feel like might go soon. That's my predictions.
What's it? James.
Oh, James. Oh, we keep forgetting about James.
That's
we
your
literally
name.
were making a list of all the people's names
It
tonight
is
before
your
we walked in
name,
here.
and we
we're
couldn't come up with
I
it.
know. Oh, so embarrassing. My name. Damn.
Yeah, James is not really offering much, and he doesn't seem to be like.
So we think like James, Chelsea, and Chris are like the three maybe next.
Yeah,
to
the
go.
ones you can't remember their names
are gonna go. Someone
gonna
did
go.
ask who's more invisible, Chelsea, Angela, or Libby. First off, Angela actually had screen time because of the whole Chris was telling me what to do and not asking me what to do, and she almost went home. And then Libby actually made the move to go against Morgan at her tribal council, which was a big move in my mind. So I think Chelsea's the most invisible. Like,
Yeah.
who is she?
I don't know.
And she flopped in that challenge tonight. So.
And she really did like flop and flip.
So if any of you guys have questions right now for Katie, feel free to ask in the live chat. While we wait for some questions, we're going to talk about our fantasy draft. So our panelists, Paige, Timothy, and I all selected 5 survivors to be a part of our fantasy draft. I made a graphic this week, so it's a little bit more visual for everyone to know who's on whose team. Because Stephanie was eliminated tonight, she was originally on Timothy's fantasy draft. Chris was the wild card and now replaced Stephanie on Timothy's team. So these are now officially locked for the rest of the season. Whose team, from observation, do you think is like probably the best, Katie? For me, it's hard to choose because I think there's a standout on each team.
Yeah.
Like Laurel for me, Wendell for Paige, and then Dominic for Timothy. Those are the 3 standouts for me. We each have a standout.
Isn't that Michael?
Yeah, Michael's on Timothy.
And Desiree?
Yeah, that's actually really
good. This is strong. Timothy's doing
But
good.
Chelsea and Chris.
Well, bye. You don't have to have them all, right?
No, but you're right. Michael and Desiree and Dominic. Yeah, Timothy does have a really good team right now.
I mean, Chris, if they go into individual challenges, that guy should be gone before someone should be thinking about that.
True.
Get rid of Chris. He is a stellar physical threat. Get rid of him because if you don't, he'll win the whole thing.
I agree. I'm excited to see how the rest of the season will play out, and hopefully Laurel wins because she's my pick still to win, and she's on my fantasy team.
I like Laurel too.
So, Divana Leone asked, how would you rate this season overall so far?
I like the season. Sometimes I am working, so I don't get a chance to watch a lot, or I catch up, or sometimes I'm bored.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a
even
huge
Bria
fan.
Carter this season so far has been meh.
I mean, I'm into it. I'm actually watching it. Maybe it's because I'm not working right now, but I'm excited about watching Survivor, which it is not always like that. these days.
Sheena123, this is a challenge-related question. Does Katie think Jenna looks like Marie from the challenge?
No.
I don't think so either.
Absolutely not at all. The challenge is long because the audience wants to see more challenge.
My question for you is, if you didn't get into the producing world and you pursued a different career path, do you think you would ever play Survivor again? If they ever called and said, hey, Katie, we want you back.
No, no one ever wants me back. I've always said that I can never play Survivor again unless I was like trained by an Olympic athlete or became an Olympic athlete, because I don't think I can play the same game. But yeah, I would do it again. I don't know. I almost died after Survivor, so but it's going to be 10 years on my birthday that I am in great health. So I would totally do that again, so then I could possibly almost die again. Why not?
YOLO.
It's been 10 years. Why don't I just try to tick her out, see if it's still working?
Well, we have one final question from Sheena123, and I'm glad someone asked this. Have you kept in touch with anyone from Survivor Palau? And if yes, who have you talked to the most?
I mean, it has been like 12, 13 years. It's a really long time. I am still friends with my alliance. Tom and Ian and Greg and Jen, God rest her soul. I probably talk to her the most. That sounds really cheesy, but I talk to her all the time. She's my angel, so that's who I talk to.
That's a beautiful answer. I love that.
It's true.
Well, you guys, that wraps up our Survivor After Show for this evening. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. And more importantly, Katie, thank you so much for being here with me tonight so I wouldn't be alone. It was so good to see you.
It was really fun. Thank you. I liked this.
Where
Hopefully
can our
back.
viewers see you on social media if they want to keep tabs?
I'm on Twitter, Katie2Gypsy, and I'm on Instagram. Same name, Katie2Gypsy, the number 2.
Perfect. And you can find me on Twitter at James Wallington and on Instagram at Where's Wallington. And unfortunately, I won't be here next week because I'm going to be traveling to Singapore. My boyfriend and I have a travel blog called Backpacking Boyfriend. So make sure you check out our Instagram because we are going to be filming videos where you decide where we go next, called Where to Next. So make sure to check that out. So I'll see you guys when I come back from my trip. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.